Hello viewers and welcome back to NATO Plays Minecraft. So here we are at the town circle, which kind of needs a better name. And something has changed. Can you guess what it is? It's the beacon colour. So in the newest snapshot, which I'm running, they've changed the way beacons work with glass, which is if you have coloured glass, the beacon beam gets altered. So if I smash this stain, is it light blue stained glass, you'll see that the beacon changes back to its normal white. But also, if I head over here in glass, you can make this go many different colours. Let's go yellow. Yellow. Actually, let's get yellow and then add a red on top, and it goes a kind of dirty orangey colour. If I just have red, it'll go bright red. So that's kind of cool. Unfortunately, I actually quite like the original colour. So I'm just going to leave a... actually, what happens if I put in a white? A white block of glass. Nothing. Okay, let's have a white block of glass because it's slightly more muted than the very harsh standard glass texture. I quite like this, like the original beacon colour. Ooh, trippy. I like the original beacon colour, so I'm going to leave it at that. Anyway, that was a side note. Something I realised when I logged in, and it was the beacon colour just seemed off. It took me a minute to work out what it was. But yeah, that's kind of cool. There's also armour stands, which I'm probably not going to use that much. But they look like this. And they're kind of cool. One other thing that bugs me about this is that I think this is intentional. So I'm getting really close up to it because some of the parts are not... Like, I think it's purposefully not modelled particularly well. Like, these legs aren't exactly straight. And that head section isn't straight. You can see in the texture that it's not aligning up to the pixels. But oh well, that kind of annoys me on an aesthetic basis, but oh well. It kind of works, it kind of looks a little bit more ramshackle than the rest of everything, which kind of looks perfect in cube. But oh well. So, this episode, I am going to start constructing a tavern in the style that we discussed on the previous episode. And yeah, it's going to be here at the top of the stairs. You're going to come up, and then this big tavern's going to be here right in front of you. Mostly because, like, okay, we have our quote-unquote taverny building. Why am I jumping? We've got that building over there, which is technically a tavern, but this is supposed to be a fantasy world, and taverns and pubs, you just can't get enough of them, really. So I'm trying to decide where exactly I want this. I mean, as I said originally, I kind of wanted it here, so that it was kind of flush with the stairs almost. So you came up the stairs and it's right in front of you. This section here is another spot. But I think something else could go here that would be kind of cool. I don't know, something like a barracks or something, a bit more mercantile. I'm trying to make this area a bit richer. So this isn't going to be a cheap pub. This is going to be like the best tavern in the city. One of the older buildings. I want the palace to look quite new, but have some of the older buildings kind of stand out. In that vein, I do actually need to... These cuttings here need to be made to look older. This one doesn't look too bad with all the vines, but the repetition of the just smooth stone brick really doesn't work. I'm going to have to go through and replace some of this with cracked. Since we're in creative now, I'm not... Oops. Yeah, since we're in creative, I can kind of get away with this. If we were in survival... You can actually make these in survival now, can't you? By cooking standard brick. You get cracked brick. We can also mossy stone brick. As you get towards the water, kind of add a little bit of mossy to kind of imply that being near the water has made this kind of start to get dirty and mossy as the tide's coming in and out. So yeah, it doesn't make a huge difference, but it adds a little bit more visual detail. Oops. Nope, wrong button. Yeah, it adds just a little bit more information. Gets rid of the repetition. So I might do that off camera, just to tidy it up a bit, make it look a little bit older. There's also, you know, all of this area here, all of this area here, all of the top that I've yet to do. So there's a lot left to do on this build. There is a problem with the stone slabs and the andesite here, which is that there's no mossy or cracked variation. There's no mossy or cracked variation of these stairs. So I'm not quite sure how I'm going to make those look older, but we shall see. Anyway, that aside, let's start thinking about this tavern. I think I will make it here. I think I'm going to have part of it in the stone, or possibly... no, let's make it conform to the area rather than modify the area heavily. Okay, so first off, let's fill up my toolbar. So I want some cobble. I don't want some andesite. I want some gravel. No R. So I've got this new keyboard and I'm still not quite used to it, and I keep pressing the wrong buttons, and it is slightly slightly irritating. So I think that's all I need for the ground floor. Stone bricks probably, yeah. We also need to decide on the exact sizing of this. I want this to have I want this to be on 2 floors and have about 6 rooms, which are about 4 by 6 or maybe 5 by 5. So they're pretty big rooms. It's going to be more like a hotel than a pub, than a like an actual tavern, as it were. Let's get rid of this light so we have a bit more working space. Okay, well I'm going to set out a rough area that I want to cover just in cobblestone so that I can, as the ground floor, because then I can tweak it and modify it as I go. And we can see how it comes out. Ooh, hello, Holden Bald. That's kind of weird. There are a few bugs in this snapshot that they're hopefully going to work out before 1.8. Let's move this down here. No. No. Ooh, no. Let's just move it down by 1. Also, it's starting to get dark again, but unfortunately, I can do that and make it all light again. It's one of the benefits of doing this in creative. Actually, music and sound. Okay. The block sounds seem very loud to me this evening, today. It's actually not the evening, so I don't even know why I said this evening. Because I don't record in the evening because of reasons. I don't know. I haven't played Minecraft properly in a while, so my kind of reflexes are off. I've been playing a little bit on a modded server with some friends, just for something different, I guess. I wouldn't say I was getting burnt out on Minecraft, but I certainly kind of needed that break that I took, especially when the huge project of that thing over there was sort of looming over me, and it still is, but I just think taking a break is probably it was you know, not too bad. And then I finished XCOM and I was like, oh god, what am I going to do with my channel? This is a little long for my liking. So let's take out this slightly. I'm kind of just weighing up the proportions of each section. I'm just thinking, is that too big? Is that too small? Not really planning this so much as just letting it flow. Like I do a fair amount of planning on bigger projects, but on one building like this I won't like massively plan it. I won't sit down and like draw it out or anything. That is a bit far. There we go. This doesn't quite look right. I can't quite put my finger on it. Possibly this. That looks a little better as a general floor plan. It's a little more balanced. I want a kind of back room. Let's get rid of some of this. Dirt. That's gravel, cobblestone. One of the problems let me start the sentence again. One of the problems with working with gravel in a building like this is if you have like that kind of situation where for some reason you have gravel above your cobble and you're like, oh, I need to take out this. Oh, yeah, that's a problem. Where yeah, the gravel will fall down and it will be very irritating when you want to have like a solid wall and place one block in it. Like if I was trying to place that cobble with, I don't know, mossy cobble or something, not that I think I would in this case, but anyway, okay, that's a rough shape. This is quite a big building, so I was just thinking, what's the actual floor plan of the one over there? The problem, like I said before, I think in last episode, when you're dealing with something in Minecraft, everything is bigger than you think it's going to be. Everything has to be bigger than you sort of initially intend, because all the walls are 1 meter wide, by definition. Pardon me. Which means that, yeah, everything is bigger than you think it needs to be. Anyway, let's go with this as a rough plan. The next stage I want to do is adding the corners. I'm going to go up to a height of 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. And I probably won't end up using all 4. I probably will end up taking some of these out. But there we go. Unless I make a sort of foundation. I can make a foundation type thing. Yeah, okay, I can make this the foundation. So it actually ends up being a little bigger than I initially intended. Then I'm going to, make these brick-like by having, or edging, really. Just by doing this, adding a couple of extra blocks, trying to make sure that they mirror each other, so that it looks like kind of they would fit together, just an aesthetic thing, rather than like an actual construction thing. You wouldn't need to alternate these bricks at this edge. Oops. Obviously, if you're making actually bricklaying, you want this sort of overlapping thing. That's kind of what I'm trying to do here. You can see that this section would fit into that section. I don't know why I'm doing that so much, as I just think it looks better when you have a bit more variance rather than repetition. Because if they were all like here and here, like if it was always, actually no, it kind of is. I mean, yeah, sorry, no. If it was like that, it would look kind of a little artificial, whereas like that little bit of variance I think makes it slightly more interesting. I mean, it does mean that the left hand side, it always has one at the top and one at the third, and then the right hand side has one at the bottom and one at the third from the bottom, or the second from the top, or whatever. And because of the way that it works, we're going to have this section, which is always going to be 2 and 2, but oh well. Okay, next step, I think I'm going to define where I want the door, which I think I want it here. And this is going to be a double door. For this particular building, that's going to be a triple door. That's not what I want, that's too big. There we go. For this particular building, because I'm going to make it so it's like it has an actual foundation, I'm going to have it slightly off the ground. Let's add the kind of extra brickwork. Okay, so that's a rough doorway, and we've got our height set in. Windows, the problem with windows in this particular design is that they actually take up quite a lot of room. I guess we could do it like that. Or like that, maybe. I actually can't remember what the ones on the in Creative look like. So I'll leave the windows for now, and we'll that easy enough to add. So the next step, I'm going to go through and I'm going to fill in the walls with just cobble. And I'll do this off camera and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, there we go. So now that I've filled in the cobble, we've got the general outline of the building. Now this is actually a lot bigger than I originally intended. So I'm probably going to mess around with some internal walls in a bit. Obviously we also have to actually work out where the stairs are going to be and whatnot, but this kind of freeform building I tend to do just off the cuff and work it out as I go along. So the next step in building this is replacing some of this cobble, or actually a fair chunk of this cobble, with gravel. Also I'm going to add some cracked stone bricks to certain sections of the edges. Let's set to 0, let's make it daytime. So yep, let's get on with that. Okay, now we've done that, we have a little bit more detail, a little bit more breaking up of that cobble texture, which was a little bit overbearing when it was just in huge walls. There are a couple of places where it still looks a little weird. These walls are a bit bigger than I initially intended, but I think once we put the windows in, we should see that breaking up a lot more. There's also the fact that it kind of ends abruptly, but I think we should be able to fix that with covering it with in fact, let's do that now. Bone meal. We've bone mealed the ground. We can kind of break up that very sharp edge. I'll probably grass all the way around there. While we're here, let's add some gravel to make a path up. We could use andesite, but I actually think that looks nicer. Let's get rid of that though, and do that. In fact, no, let's just go andesite. There we go. Okay. So the next thing I want to do is add the floor, the interior floor. Now for this, I'm going to use spruce wood. No, bone meal, come back. So I'm going to use spruce wood, and it's going to be up to this level rather than actually in the ground. So I'll do this off camera as well, just because it's monotonous and it's not very interesting. Okay, with that done, I think it's time to start adding a few windows to try and bring this place to life a bit better, a bit more. So here's not a bad place to start. Oops. The way I want these windows to work is kind of recess them back. Glass, and let's go with light grey stained glass, which you can't really see when you're in the view like that, but it does work quite well out here. One of the things I'd like to do is try and keep the level of glass on this bottom floor quite light, because it's supposed to be supporting all the wooden frame above it, so it kind of needs to be quite hefty looking. It doesn't need to be massively obnoxiously huge, but a kind of healthy weight to it's probably not a bad plan. I'm also trying to maintain the kind of cobble and gravel exterior rather than building a huge frame around each window. Probably fit 2 windows in this section, here and over here. Not exactly planning where these are going or measuring them. Oops. No. Thank you. Yeah, there definitely is something up with this snapshot and the placement of objects, and sometimes they just don't appear. Oops. Ah! Hands, why you do these things? I'll put one in the back here. A little bit off center. That's kind of annoying. Nope, there. Thank you. Yeah, this one's a little bit off center, but just have to deal with it. Can't actually make that a double window. Does double windows work with this design? Nope. There we go. Just about. I'll just about allow that. Especially because that's going to be at the back of the building and kind of hidden away. We want to try and match this one up with the one over there. So it kind of looks a little bit more... Oh, hello, snow. Just get rid of the snow. As nice as it is, kind of annoying. I also want to have another one here. I actually think I've messed up. Have I done... I don't think this is exactly like the previous version. I think they were like that. Which I actually like more. I think that looks slightly better. Oh, actually no. When you've actually got a proper foundation section there, it doesn't work so well. I mean, if I did it on the ones... Ah, damn it, daytime. Damn it world. Why do you keep happening around me? Yeah, if it's like that on when it's just coming to the ground, that works fine. But when it's actually lifted above the ground, when it has an actual kind of foundation-y layer, it just looks a bit weird. Okay, so now we have a couple of windows. Let's add one more. There we go. Okay, well that's basically the main body of the ground floor done. We've got windows, we've got our doorway. We don't really have the internal layout decided yet, but that will come soon. Let's add some doors. I'm still annoyed that there's only sort of 2 types of doors. It'd be really nice if there was some more, just some more colours, some more variation. Possibly of the various different kinds of wood. Thank you, game. Thank you. Anyway, I think I will end this episode here, and next episode we will look at building the top half of this building and also laying out the interior, which is going to be a bit interesting because this thing is actually quite big. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.